All right, in today's video, I'm going to be answering a question from somebody who called in and is in a kind of tricky situation here. You know, he's living with his ex. She's in a rebound relationship. She's talking about her rebound and talking poorly about her ex regularly to people online, and he overhears a lot of this sort of stuff. This sounds like a very frustrating situation from the caller's situation, from the caller's perspective, and we're going to go over how we can actually turn this situation around and create more connection, more positivity, and more of an opportunity to stand head and shoulders above any sort of rebound in this sort of situation. And we're going to do this all without using the no contact rule, all without using reverse psychology or mind games or anything like that. Anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the question.
So my ex broke up with me a month ago. We lived together for about 6 months, signed a lease for a year, and then a month after that, she broke up with me. And she's been talking to this guy, I think, since we broke up. I don't know if it's been, I don't know what they've been like talking about. Like, I know that he lives in a different country and she met him playing video games, but I do know that she's like talking to him like they're in a relationship together. And I don't know if they're actually dating or if they're just talking. But I know that he keeps on trying to get her to go out and visit him in a different state or country or whatever. But she doesn't want to. He keeps on offering to buy her a plane ticket to go, but she doesn't want to go. So she broke up with me a month ago because I was addicted to pornography and I stopped treating her right because all I cared about was sex. And I'm so glad that I beat that addiction and I don't do it no more. But I'm still trying to win her back. But I don't know how to go about winning her back because like I watched a bunch of videos of a bunch of other people and everyone says, "Oh, just stay to yourself and give her no contact as best as you can, even though we live together." And this, that, the third. And now I watched like your videos on how to get a rebound back, and you said the total opposite to like be her friend, kind of like don't be like a friend, but be like a friend because we're in an intimate relationship, we can never be actual friends. And like if she starts talking about her new boyfriends, just like tell her like to set boundaries there. But it's like it's very hard because like she plays the game and I can hear her when she plays the game and like she just talks. Sometimes she like talks shit about me, and sometimes she like talks about him. So like, I get to hear all of that when I'm off of work, and it just makes me like it really just makes me want to ball up in a ball and just cry myself to sleep because the girl that I love the most is talking about some other guy, or she's talking trash about me. But I know at the end of the day, like I can't do that because being a guy and a man, you're not supposed to, I guess, show weakness like that. So like, I know I have like a lot of stuff to work on, and I know that I'm probably not the best for her currently because she's very attractive, and I know that she could go out and find someone that makes six figure and would take care of her properly. And I don't make that much because I'm only 18, but I can take care of her with how much I do make. See, I'm not like broke and I don't make like trash amounts of money, but I just, and like the rebound that she's with is like the total opposite of me. Like he's like doing drugs and drinks and smokes and lives with a bunch of roommates, and I live on I live with her, so like, we don't have roommates or nothing like that. And when she moves, I'm just gonna live on my own. So compared to me, he's a bum. And I know that she doesn't care about that stuff. She doesn't care about anything besides how she feels, which I guess is understandable. But I don't know how to make her feel the same way she used to feel when we first met, because she's talking to someone else and she doesn't. She's like, she doesn't want to. She's like giving me a hot and cold treatment. Like she doesn't want to change in front of me because I guess she said like at first before I knew that she was talking to someone else, she just says that it's boundaries. But like now that she's talking to someone else, I figured it's just out of respect for that person. Like, of course, she wouldn't want to show off her private parts to her ex, which is understandable. But then she sleeps in like her underwear and just a shirt. So it's like, I don't know if she's like doing that because she's just more comfortable, or she's doing it to like rub it in my face because we still sleep in the same bed. Or I honestly don't know where to go because she broke up with me because I stopped treating her like I should. I stopped listening to her. I stopped validating her feelings. I stopped spending time with her. I stopped going out on dates with her. I just became a roommate. and I want to win her back, but it's hard to win someone back whenever they're talking to someone else and they don't want anything to do with you. So I'm just asking for your advice on how to, like, I guess, show her that I could change and that I could be the person that she wants, because apparently, because like she told me that like she loved me, but she's not in love with me. So it's like, I don't know if that just means like her attraction level for me is low, or if she's just saying that not to hurt my feelings because she's talking to this new guy. But again, I'm not really worried about her sleeping with him because he's in a different country. But like, it's still hard to try to win her back whenever she's talking to him. And I don't know, she just gave me a very hot and cold treatment. Like, she still talks to me sometimes about like her day. Like, if I ask her about her day, she'll talk to me, but she would never ask me about my day. It's just kind of like that. She just kind of answers my questions, but doesn't ask me any.
Okay. Looks like the recording cut off there, but let's go ahead and get into this. So, if I'm understanding all of this correctly, the two of you signed a lease together, I guess about 2 months ago. You're living together in the same apartment, and 1 month ago, the two of you broke up because because apparently, according to you, you were not listening, you were not validating her experiences, and she says that she loves you, but she's not in love with you. And that she only cares about how she feels. She is in a rebound relationship, a long-distance rebound relationship with someone who may be in another state or country or something like that. There's a lot going on here. So first of all, I think it's great that you've gotten the whole porn situation under control. Obviously, if that is something that is hurting you, holding you back, or anything like that, then go ahead and handle that. Sounds like you already are, so congratulations on that. It sounds like your girl here is a really emotionally oriented sort of person. And so that is actually a good thing, because that means that you're going to be able to connect with her much more easily than if she was, someone else who has less access to her feelings. So what we're going to be talking about here is going to build off of that, and it's going to help you to create the context to form more of an emotional connection with her, okay? So the first thing that we're going to want to do is to have a same team conversation, because right now you're home, where you live, where she lives. It sounds like this sort of tense, hostile place, at least for you anyway. You obviously have feelings for her. Who knows exactly what she's feeling, but she is talking to this guy online, when you're around, and that's obviously very hurtful for you. So first things first, have a same team conversation. The same team conversation is going to drop the pressure to help her to not feel as if she has to keep you at arm's length. That's probably the biggest thing that's holding the two of you back right now, is because of the history between the two of you. She probably feels as if she has to keep you at arm's length, and is unable to really allow herself to surrender and to just enjoy connecting with you. Now, the good thing is that because, once again, she is an emotionally oriented person, it sounds like, she's probably going to go with this in a much more easier sort of way, and also to really go with the whole surrendering process and going with the flow of the emotional dynamic between the two of you in a much more easy sort of way. So have the same team conversation. I'm going to send you some information on how to have a same team conversation. And then also, so first of all, that's going to happen, and she's very likely to say yes to this, because people are very likely to say yes to same team conversations anyway, especially if you frame it as, hey, here we are living together. This might be a little bit uncomfortable, but let's make the most of this. Let's make this as best as we possibly can, okay? And that should start to drop the romantic pressure and allow her to give herself permission to spend a little bit more time with you and to interact with you in a deeper sort of way, okay? From there, that's going to create the context for you to be able to connect emotionally with her. In this way, I want you to use some rapport building strategies. I'm also going to send you some information on that as well too. So we're going to have the same team conversation and the rapport building strategies. And when you're talking with her, I want you to use these strategies to start to pull her down into the emotional level. Again, this should probably be relatively easy given how you describe her. But we want to pull her down to the emotional level where she can connect with you, emotionally speaking, okay? And then this is where you're going to start to build that connection. This is where you're going to really start to stand head and shoulders above any sort of rebound or above anyone else that she, might have on her radar, whether or not they make six figures. Of course, some women would be interested in a guy who, makes six figures or, is independently wealthy or, whatever. But most of the time, women just want someone who's going to have that masculine presence, set the tone, take the lead, and be willing to put in the effort to at least try to provide for her and any sort of potential future family that they might have together. She doesn't necessarily need you to be some sort of high rolling big shot or anything like that. Of course, some women, gold diggers and such, might go for something like that, but assuming that she is an authentic person who's just trying to have a good relationship with someone, she'll probably just want to be with someone who's putting in the effort, to try to be a good person, to try to show up in an emotionally mature sort of way, and to try to get his career, his profession, his future, and everything oriented in the direction that he wants it to go. So again, don't get too caught up on the whole six figures thing. Don't get too caught up on the she could have any guy she wants to thing, because it sounds like she is very emotionally oriented, which means that she probably prioritizes emotional connection more so than someone else who's a little bit more checked out. So as long as you're able to connect with her on that emotional level through, again, those rapport building skills that I'm going to send you, then she should really respond well to that. And that is probably going to make you stand head and shoulders above anyone else that you might be seeing, including this rebound. So again, don't worry about that, because so many people these days have such a hard time connecting emotionally for a lot of social reasons that we don't necessarily have time to go into right now. Just the state of our society, just the state of how we are, turning away from the present moment, etc. Maybe we can, again, talk about that at some other point in time. But, don't worry about it. The emotional connection game is actually ridiculously easy if you just put in a little bit of effort and use some of those rapport building skills that I'm going to share with you. Let's see. So now about the rebound situation. Okay, so you're living in this apartment. She is playing this video game. She's talking to this rebound, talking to friends about you, about this rebound, and it's making you feel uncomfortable. So within the context of being on the same team, and within the context of perhaps even connecting emotionally with her, I think it makes sense to just let her know that you feel uncomfortable by some of these things. And maybe there are certain things that the two of you can do to make this more comfortable for you. Like have her play this game in another room if she's not already, or if she is, do it with the door closed, or, somehow create a context where the two of you don't have to have this sort of overlapping thing where you can hear her talking about you in a derogatory sort of way, or, anything like that. Because that's obviously not fair for you, because, this is equally your home as well as hers, and you should feel comfortable in your own home. You shouldn't feel as if you're having to, cover your ears or anything like that. So, again, I don't know the exact arrangements that you have. I don't know if it's a 2-bedroom place or if what exactly is happening. But just go ahead and try to set that up for you to be able to have the boundaries that you need to protect yourself from this sort of uncomfortable situation here. Let's see. It sounds like the two of you are sleeping in the same bed. So that's okay. As long as both of you are okay with that, and it's not creating any sort of blurred lines or anything like that. Again, once you actually start to connect with her, though, I think that things are going to start to really improve a lot here. So, as you have said, I think, once again, yes, you do want to drop the romantic pressure by having that same team conversation, talk about just being friends for the time being, etc. But once again, I don't want you to just behave like a platonic friend. Oh gosh, tell me more about this rebound. He sounds like just a great guy. Tell me more about him. Tell me what are the best things about him. Don't do that. I know you don't want to hear any of that stuff, but don't think that you need to do all of that sort of stuff. I mean, people take things in the wrong way. I mean, I remember once I was on this sort of group call with a bunch of other YouTube relationship coaches, and I was talking about my whole opinion about being friends, and this other prominent coach, I'm not going to drop names or anything to make him feel weird or anything. He says, oh yeah, you're just going to end up sipping lattes together and feeling weird as they gush about their new Rebound or something. Like, no. Like, first of all, most people have enough tact not to do that. And second of all, you can enforce a boundary. And third of all, like, who says just because, you agree to be friends that things are going to go in that direction, right? So, okay, people jump to extreme conclusions. And this was someone who touts himself as being a therapist. But anyway, I mean, you connect the dots if you want to, but whatever. So that's what you need to do, I think, is to reduce that romantic pressure and then, set up that context where she can then let herself open up more to you. Now, from there, when the time is right, when you're in that state of rapport, when the mood is right, that's when it makes sense to sort of bridge that platonic gap. This breakup was about a month ago, so it's fairly recent. So I think it's fair that you could, potentially do certain things like hold hands or put your arm around her or flirt with her in some way. And, if it goes well, okay, cool, roll with it. That's her emotional body sort of surrendering to this process and doing what it wants to do, which is to get closer to you, because we've gotten the mental, logical side of the brain out of the way that says, oh, I can't do that because Josh and I are broken up, or because, I'm in this relationship with somebody else. We want to get that out of the way by dropping the romantic pressure so that she can then access her emotional body a little bit more directly. And so flirting is then where we can go ahead and test to see where she's at emotionally. And if she goes along with it, okay, excellent. But if she doesn't, if she seems resistant to it or something, just recover from that reasonably quickly. Say, okay, sorry, old habits die hard or something, and then just immediately roll into whatever the next conversation piece might be. And then also, I think it makes sense that she's not asking direct questions about you because of the sort of awkwardness of the situation, but having the same team conversation is going to help with that. And also starting to introduce more connection with one another is going to help with that as well too, as you start to connect more on that emotional level. Now, as you do start to connect more on that emotional level, you'll probably start to go through those 5 stages of getting back together that we have talked about on, several other videos. And I mean, like right now, it sounds like she's probably at riding the dragon. So you're going to have to put in some work to kind of get her to that crisis point, but not as much work as if she was just totally shut down or anything like that. So put in some of that work to get her through some of that confusion. There might be some hot and cold. There might be some positive pullbacks. There might be all sorts of things along the way. So you're at the sort of dynamic, interesting, exciting phase of this process. But don't worry, you can do this. I think you can get through this. But as you start to get towards that crisis point stage, that's where you might have to start to actually increase the romantic pressure a little bit, because now it's starting to become clear that she actually does have romantic feelings for you. And, she this isn't just like a sort of cut and dry breakup. Okay, we broke up, all that sort of stuff. And now I'm just going to move on with my life. It's going to become a little bit more complicated for her. This is where she starts to try to push you back because she wants to keep this decision that she sees approaching on the horizon. What are we going to do? What are Josh and I going to do? She wants to push it back because it's going to be uncomfortable for her to try to make this decision. It's going to be obviously uncomfortable for her to break up with the Rebound. It's going to be uncomfortable for her to, change her plans about moving out or tell all of her friends that the two of you worked things out or something like that, especially if she's been talking poorly about you. And so she's going to try to put this off, but that's where you want to put on the romantic pressure. Again, you want to make sure that she's at that crisis point first before you do this, and then you can start putting on the romantic pressure. Remember, crisis point is where you can get away with doing all the stuff that you're probably not recommended that you do in earlier stages, like confessing how you truly feel, etc. Now, you did mention that you're trying to hide how you feel around her. I don't want you to do that. I want you to feel as if you can have access to your emotions, because that's actually a very attractive thing. Now, the key distinction here is that you want to be a man who is experiencing an emotion, not a man who is owned by his emotion, right? So that's really kind of the key difference between damage control mode or desperation or neediness or something like that, is that the emotion sort of overrides you, it overrides your values, it overrides what's important to you, and it causes you to slip out of composure. So what we want to do is we want to stay in composure, and you can say, I'm feeling sad right now, but I'm not going to, do anything crazy like beg or plead or, anything like that. But I do feel sad. That is actually vulnerability. That's transparency. That actually builds emotional connection if you can do something like that. Let's see. Now, you say that she stopped the relationship. She broke up with you. I mean, I guess because of the porn addiction. Sounds like you got that handled or getting that handled. But then also, you say that you stopped listening to her and validating how she felt. I think this is going to really be cleaned up a lot as you start to do that rapport building exercise that I'm going to send you. So yeah, like overall, this sounds like a workable situation. I know it's complicated because the two of you are living together right now, but that does give you a lot of potential for interacting with one another. Having the same team conversation and rapport building, I think, are going to come pretty naturally and organically between the two of you. And then just put in place certain boundaries to stop you from having to overhear certain conversations about yourself or about this rebound or whatever. And I think you're going to be able to move forward from here. Anyway, once again, this has been a sponsored video. If you do want to learn how to sponsor a video yourself and get your question answered, such as in this format, please head on down to the description box below. You can find out more about that there. We also did talk a fair amount about rebound relationships in this video. If you want to learn how to get your ex back from a rebound relationship, please check out this video right over here. But once again, this has been Clay. This has been a sponsored video. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you next time.